Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. MyGreenGear.com, JerichoGreen.net. Venmo is Green for Green. Cashapp is $ Jericho Green. And the number one. Big shout out to Gabe and Sean. Yesterday I was over on Gabe's channel. I put it up on my YouTube page under community. We got together and talked about the great action movie Out for Justice starring Steven Seagal. And not just the straight to DVD Steven Seagal you see now with terrible implants, but Steven Seagal banging ponytail 1991 Steven Seagal. Shit was hilarious. Also, shout out to Justin and the family in Louisiana. He sent me this yesterday in the mail. He said, it's Greta, the female gremlin. You hear that? Female gremlin. Remember when that came out back in the early 80s when we knew what women and men were? But he said he saw this and thought that it looked a lot like Maxine Waters. And I thought to myself, that's fucked up to tell that gremlin that it looks like Maxine Waters. That is not very nice, Justin. But thank you very much, man. That's cool. I'll find a spot for it on the shelf. I promise. What up, everybody? In the comment section already. Early to class. I appreciate that. Shout out to you all. So much crazy shit. I know at the end of my live, I was like, and usually I'm like, hey, you know, something crazy is going to happen overnight. And boy, did it. And you can see, shout out to Ms. Pepsi Girl. She is the official Super Chat Cherry Popper. She says, going deep in that ass like a bike with no seat. Busting the financial hymen. You sure did. And you were kind of rough. All right, Ms. Pepsi Girl. So you saw the thumbnail. If you don't know who that is or what movie that is from, that is Brad Pitt from Seven. And if you haven't seen the movie Seven, first of all, you're way behind, or maybe you're just really young. I'm about to spoil it for you. So spoiler alert, if you've never watched the movie Seven, starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and that weirdo Kevin Spacey. But this movie came out, 95? Either 95 or 97. I think 95. And that was back when we didn't know Kevin Spacey was a weirdo yet. We didn't know a lot of things about celebrities back then because there was no social media. We couldn't know their every thought every minute. It was just, we see you in your movies or your TV show, and that's it. We don't know a lot about you. We know what you tell the magazines, you know, Variety or whatever. We know what you tell People magazine. But that's back when actors, they acted. And yes, some of them had social and political opinions, but it was hard to come across it. And they didn't base their entire life on them. But if you haven't seen that movie, spoiler alert. So that picture, that thumbnail is from the very end where they have Kevin Spacey. He turns out to be the killer. And they have him, part of his plan was to meet out in this desolate desert area out in the middle of nowhere. There's just hills and telephone or electricity towers, you know, the big towers like them A-frames. That's all there are out there. So they meet. They got Kevin Spacey. He's sitting there with Morgan Freeman, and they have a UPS truck comes out of nowhere and drops off a box. And like, who are you? They point their guns out because Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are cops, and they've been looking for Kevin Spacey. They've been on the trail of this serial killer. So the UPS truck shows up, and the guy gets out, and they're like, hey, who are you? They got the guns on him. He's like, hey, I was paid to bring this box to this spot at this time. I don't know shit else. So they take the box, and they send him out of there. And Morgan Freeman goes over. He's the one over there with the UPS guy. Brad Pitt is standing over there with Kevin Spacey, and Kevin Spacey's on his knees. And so Morgan Freeman runs back over. He said, stop, no. And so he comes over there with the box, and Brad Pitt, he has his gun pointed at Kevin Spacey's head, and he goes, what's in the box? He's asking Morgan Freeman, what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? And then he finds out what's in the box, and what is in the box is the head of his girlfriend, played by, I believe, Gwyneth Paltrow. Paltrow. That was before we knew she was a crazy leftist fucker too. But that thumbnail, that snapshot, is apropos of the title. What's in the bill? What's in the bill? What's in the bill? The one that they just signed, the Inflation Reduction Act. What's in it? Where is this money going? And it was hard to find information. It was hard to find a detailed breakdown of where this money is going. There were a lot of percentages, and this many million Americans will get this, and this many million Americans. Look, I don't got time for all that number shit and all those financial terms and stuff. I'm not that smart, okay? Give me a breakdown. This department next to the amount of money they're going to get. Give me a simple breakdown of where this fake, made up, printed up money, the ink's probably not dry on it. If you get any new bills, make sure you wave them like you used to shake the Polaroid pictures. Blow on it so it dries. Because they're just printing this shit up. And I just want to know, where is it going? And how much is going to each of these little fronts to skim money off of the top? Wait until you hear some of the groups, the names of these groups, and how much money they're getting. It's hard for me to muster any give a shit. That's one of my favorite t-shirts I ever designed. It says fresh out of giver, and then there's a poop emoji. You know, in case you're around the kids. Daddy, what shit? You don't need those kind of questions. But it means fresh out of give a shit. Let me see. I'm patting my pockets. I'm out. It's hard for me to find any give a shit about these groups you're throwing these millions of dollars at. Who are they? We're going to talk about how we're getting robbed. And why is it so hard to find out? You think there'd be like breakdown.com where they'd have a breakdown of every single group that's getting some of this almost $1 trillion in the Inflation Reduction Act. And what's the one thing that it's not going to do? You know the answer. And why are people calling this a victory? This is a victory for the Democratic Party. This is a victory for the administration. Well, guess what? I don't give a fuck about their victories. I want my own victories. Their victories should be our victories because they work for, never mind. Forget it. I don't mean to get into the details of things. Also, Liz Cheney is Abraham Lincoln? That's what she's saying. You can't make this shit up. And she said, this is the most important, defeating Trump, pulling America from the cold grips of the orange man is the most important thing to face our country since the Civil War. Since neighbor was fighting neighbor. Imagine, no bullshit. Imagine squaring off against your fellow American citizens and killing them and them trying to kill you. Shit, you might see somebody you know. Especially the states that are near the line of demarcation where we decide this is South and this is the North. Those states that border that, you're probably going to fight and kill somebody you know. Would we be ready for that? Would you be ready to kill other Americans by the thousands? What is it, over 600,000 deaths in the Civil War? And that was just us. There were no other countries involved. That was just Americans. That is some wild shit when you actually think about it. A civil war, and somehow bringing down one guy who was the president one time is as a momentous occasion as the Civil fucking War. Man, they think highly of themselves. And the I.R.S.S. Damn, y'all. I threw an extra S in there, didn't I? Damn it. Well, it's okay. Can I explain myself? Can you guys just not be pleb for 1 second and let me explain myself? Damn. Now, when you're talking, and sometimes the wires get crossed. So I'm thinking, the Nazis, they love to throw that Nazi word around. They love Nazi. They love Hitler. They love to throw those words around. So I'm thinking, the SS soldiers from the Nazi dudes and the IR, well, because they're training them in guns and shit. Why do these fucking nerds need guns? And wait, and guys, we're gonna watch this video together, and just keep this in mind: wheelchair. All right, let's put a pin in that. Wheelchair. I.R.S.S. Damn, I did it again. Sorry, guys. Don't be playing in the comment section. Don't. Give me a break. The I.R.S. There we go. The I.R.S. training video, wheelchair. Keep that on the back burner for me, okay? And Joe Manchin. Remember a few months back, maybe a year ago or something, where the Democrats were all pissed off at Joe Manchin and all the blue check marks and the mainstream mediocres and these so-called entertainers were so pissed at Joe Manchin because he was a roadblock in front of our feeble grandpa in chief. He was stopping him from getting shit done that he wanted to get done. But then it turns out that Joe Manchin had the one vote to pass this IRA bill, the Inflation Reduction Act bill. He's the guy. He made it happen. He put that final linchpin in there. Like if you watch some kind of movie and they get the last piece of the puzzle and they drop it in there and the whole thing comes to life. He did that. He put that final piece in there. And then somebody asked him a very simple question about the Inflation Reduction Act. How is it? Now, hold on, guys. Are you sitting down? If you're operating heavy machinery or equipment, power down. Okay? If you're standing up, sit down. If you're driving, pull over, turn off your vehicle. Okay? Because this shit's going to blow your mind, and I don't want you to pass out or faint or go off the road like, what the fuck? I don't want that to happen to you. I care about your safety. I love almost lost it. I love you guys. I love you, man. She asked him some real simple shit. She wanted to know, this reporter, how is the Inflation Reduction Act? It's in the title. She wanted to know how the Inflation Reduction Act is going to reduce inflation. I know, right? Such a simple question. You would think someone of his stature would be able to answer a simple question like that. And his answer will piss you off. If you didn't have a drop of anger blood, have you had your drop of anger blood today? If you haven't, here it comes. Because his answer, either he's stupid or even worse, he thinks we're stupid. Because his answer is going to piss you off. It pissed me off. Pretty fucking dumb answer. Again, he's dumb or he thinks we're dumb. You be the judge. And today was my kid's first day of school. I'm a little bummed about it. I miss my kids. Yes, they're the biggest pain in the ass I've ever had in my life. They make me more angry than any other adult human being ever could, because it's a unique relationship. There's no other relationship in your life where you put this kind of time and effort in. Not your wife, not your husband, not a family member, a relative, your best friend, your bestie. There's no other relationship where you put this much into it. There's no other person that you take care of on every level. Housing, clothing, education, protection, extracurriculars, life lessons. There's no other relationship you put this kind of effort into. So to do that, and then to have them tell you some shit that has nothing to do with what you told them to do, or giving you attitude, or leaving the clothes that I spend my hard-earned money on in the middle of the floor for the 85th thousandth time? Does that make sense? You've never repeated yourself over and over and over again to another human being in your life. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Despite all that, I miss him. I was already missing him on the way to school. I was doing my son's hair, brushing his hair, getting him dressed, backpack and shit. And now he's in first grade. My daughter's in fifth grade. So it's like, as soon as you get to school, hey, wait, they're gone. So get your hug and your kiss quick, because as soon as they get to school, they out. I miss them. House is quiet. But whatever. I got to go to school, got to learn, blah, blah, blah. But I miss them. I'm not one of these parents who rejoice on the first day of school. I mean, yeah, I can get a lot more done and all that kind of shit, but yeah, miss those little mongrels. But let's get into it, people. Let's get into it. But first, this live stream is brought to you by My Patriot Supply. Friends, the entire world is experiencing food shortages. Supply chain breakdowns continue to have a domino effect on everything, especially food production. Farmers can't plant as many crops now because of the fertilizer shortages, forced regulations, and high fuel prices. This will cause more painful shortages when we run out of the food we're eating now. Food takes time to grow, so when farmers don't plant, months later, we don't eat. That's why you need to prepare for an increasing number of food shortages. And the best way to invest is in Ready Hour emergency food from My Patriot Supply. It's a perfect hedge against skyrocketing prices and shortages. Right now, save $50 on a 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithjericho.com and get your $50 savings on a 4-week emergency food kit that average over 2,000 calories per day. That's preparewithjericho.com. Those who know what's coming are preparing now. Shouldn't you? Preparewithjericho.com. Dang it. Ice cold water. Current temperature, 94. We're looking at 106 today, people. Not happy about that shit. Lucy W., don't tell me that. She says, wait till you have grandchildren. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. But they would have to come from my son, because my daughter is going to live in a tower that I'm going to build in my backyard where there's only one way to access it, and you can't get in there because I will be sleeping in the doorway armed. I wish. But I can't. Won't happen. It's going to make friends. Some stupid ass boy. Anyway, no sad thoughts for me. Let's move on. Here we go. Jake says my daughter won't date until 30 or so. I told my daughter, she asked me one time, she said, Daddy, when will you allow me to date? I said, we'll talk about it when you're 47. That's the only time. That's when we'll discuss it. So don't bring it up ever again. Thank you. Good Gun, people, here it comes. What is Good Gun? If you're new to the class, Good Gun is a segment we have in the beginning where we talk about the good things that good people do with their gun, because the gun is not the problem. The gun is a tool. It only do what you make it do. What did Ray Charles say? I'm going to make it do what it do, baby. Well, tools only do what you make them do. New Hampshire woman shoots attacker. Well, good for you, New Hampshire woman. What happened? A pistol-packing New Hampshire senior citizen plugged a drifter who followed her and tried to rob her in her apartment building's parking lot on Monday night. You son of a bitch. You thought you were running up on one of the Golden Girls, didn't you? 65-year-old Manchester, New Hampshire woman noticed a car following her after she stopped at a gas station, police said. She parked as close as she could to the front door of her apartment building when she noticed the car following her did the same. Now let's stop here for a second. It says she noticed a car following her, so she was aware of her surroundings. That means at the gas station, she was looking around. She was aware. When she was in the car, she was aware because she noticed that car's following me. Even when she got to her apartment building, the way she parked, she gave herself the shortest distance to her apartment, to her front door. She didn't park way the fuck over here. She didn't get out with everything she could possibly hold at once and her keys and her cell phone. She wasn't holding shit up here to where she can't see, obstructing her vision. Her head was on a swivel. Now, you would think that this criminal would have noticed her being aware of her surroundings and said, nah, I'm going to choose an easier mark. But apparently, this criminal was a fucking idiot, and he didn't pick up on the signs. He didn't notice the red flags. So good for that woman. Men and women, be aware of your surroundings. Don't just be staring at your phone and shit. Don't be daydreaming. You don't got to go like this the whole time that you're at the gas station, but be aware. That's what saved this lady's ass. She exited her vehicle and walked towards her apartment building, police said in a statement. She immediately heard a vehicle door close and a person quickly walking up behind her. She looked and observed a white male with a dark hooded sweatshirt quickly approach her, run past her, and immediately block her path. The male then reached out and attempted to grab her. At this point, the victim drew her handgun from her pocket and shot the male once in the chest at close range. The man who allegedly attacked her, Michael Bontatis, 23, no fixed address, was charged with robbery yesterday afternoon, police said. The woman has not been charged, and police described her actions as self-defense. Police said the accused robber outweighed the woman by 100 pounds and was 1 foot taller than her. The woman had a valid concealed carry permit and shot the man once to stop the attack. Now, he had a foot on her and 100 pounds. How do you think that story would have ended if she didn't have her gun? Do you think he would have walked up to her and said, "Pardon me, miss. Oh, pardon me. I am your local criminal. I would like to procure your belongings. Since I'm a good criminal, I will give you time to go into your residence and retrieve a weapon so you can even the playing field. I will be right here and await your return, madam." No, that's not what would have happened. He would have beat that poor woman to death. That's what would have happened. Criminals don't play that way. They don't play fair. They want the advantage, just like any other predator. The path of least resistance. I don't want to get injured in this robbery. I just want to take your shit, and if I have to injure you, that's fine. But he thought he was running up on Sophia Petrillo, and he got fucked up. He thought he was running up on Sophia. He ended up running up on Annie Oakley. Payow! Shot that big son of a bitch. It's a great equalizer. If that woman didn't have that gun, she'd be a statistic. He would have beat her or killed her or both. Maybe sexually assaulted her too. You don't know. You know what kind of fucking evil was bouncing around in his empty ass head? You got to have some evil in you to fucking rob somebody, especially an old lady. I mean, not old, she's 65. A seasoned woman. How about that? She said, nah. She's on cool, not today. Payow! Now, she must have had a small caliber weapon because close range in the chest, if the caliber's big enough, it's a wrap. Tim Starr, yeah, he's probably just a victim. It's not his fault. And if this was in New Hampshire, but if it was in Chicago, they could have blamed it on a pandemic because that's pandemic's fault. Pandemic did everything. Remember that movie, Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood? And there was the white guy following him around, the man. There's this nerdy white dude, and he had OJ, Tupac, and like the movie character's name on a list, and he's checking them off. And he shot somebody and then dropped the gun at the scene. Or no, gave the gun to them. And then took his gloves off and left. Like there's some white guy following you around committing these crimes in the hood. Same thing. That's the pandemic. The pandemic is doing all this shit. It wasn't me. I didn't rob that lady. The pandemic did. Damn pandemic. Put the pandemic in prison, not me. I didn't do shit. That was good gun, people. Good for that old lady. Damn it. I'm sorry. But good for that woman protecting herself, because that wouldn't have been the case had she not had that weapon. We know that. We know that shit for a fact. If she didn't have that gun on her, she's another statistic. Cops would have been questioning her neighbors. She was such a nice lady. You know, it's a nice neighborhood. You wouldn't think things like this would happen here. She was so nice. She's going to be missed. She's going to be missed. She was such a nice lady. There's some flowers, some teddy bears and shit. Maybe bring over a casserole or two to her grieving family. But that didn't happen. She had a gun and she said, not today, fucking Michael, whatever your name was. Boom, take this. Take this. How's your leg count? The shit went up, didn't it? Oh man, I gotta text my wife to bring me something. Because it was charging. I need my speaker. Hold up. It's charging. Here we go. Let's see if she gets it. But good for her. Glad she was armed. Glad she got to go home. So, hold on. Hydrate. So what's in the bill? What's in it? Space Rangers recording studio. I'm not on Truth Social yet because they don't have it for Android. But once they have it for Android, I certainly will. Boom. So what's in it? Like I said before, it was very hard to find like a detailed list of what was in it. Just a real simple breakdown. I don't understand why that's so difficult. There should be, and I looked on the White House's website as well. And the only thing it had the bullshit that they tell us. Oh, it's a 15% tax on billionaires and this much for medicine. This much, or making prescriptions cheaper. And that actually is only a matter of like $20 or something like that. Like they capped it at 34, but before that it was 54. I mean, it's not a lot of money. And it's certainly doesn't make it worthy of a bill. Did you need a bill to do that? But they sneak a bunch of shit in there. But it was really hard to find a detailed list. And I kind of found one here. But it was almost $1 billion, about $750 billion. So almost $1 trillion on top of the 1.9 trillion for that other bullshit. The COVID Relief Act or whatever the fuck that was. So even more. So let's see. Where do we get to the numbers? And the groups that this money is going to is so stupid. I mean, I guess these groups need it, but here, I'll tell you. So it says $3 billion in grants for environmental justice overseen by the EPA. What is environmental justice? See, justice implies that there was some kind of crime committed and the scales need to be balanced. And in order for a crime to be committed, there has to be a victim, right? So who's the victim? Does it say forest, lakes, streams, and forests versus the people? What the fuck is environmental justice. Who's been wronged here? And who's the perpetrator? If there's a victim, there has to be a perpetrator. Is it us? Just our existence is a violation against the planet? Environmental justice. It's just like social justice. There's just justice. There's only truth. There's not yours or mine or theirs. Speak your truth. Just the truth. That's it. It's either true or it's not. There's nothing in between. The in between gets us in trouble. Environment, what does that even mean? Who's the victim? The planet? Just the dumbest shit ever. So that's 3 billion. So it's about 60 billion total for environmental justice for the EPA. And the budget for the EPA currently stands at about $10 billion. So that's quite a growth in their budget. That's quite a bit. Imagine your budget being multiplied by 3 to 5 times overnight. Oh, shit. Guess who's getting some new supplies? Guess who's getting some new equipment? Okay. I don't know what equipment you need to enact environmental justice, but I'm sure they'll let us know when it's too late. So, and $25 million for the Government Accountability Office. What the fuck does that mean? Where is that? Where's the Government Accountability Office? And you talk about someone underperforming, is the Government Accountability Office. You guys got some work to do. A lot. $10 million for equity commissions. There's that damn word again. Equity. Equity. That means we all finish the same. Whether you get up at 5 a.m. and work all day, or whether you wake up at noon and don't do shit, we're all going to get to the same finish line. Does that sound fair? Does that sound like something you want to be a part of? No. If I'm up and I'm grinding and doing my thing, I'm going to pass your lazy ass. Bye. Eat my dust, you lazy fuck. Equity. You don't deserve to be where I am. But $10 million to equity commissions. All right. Because they're going to spend every dime legitimately, right? Okay. If you're just listening to me, you can't see the screen. I winked. What the fuck? $2 billion for the General Services Administration, called the Federal Permitting Improvement. They get $350 million. The Bureau of Indian Affairs gets $220 million. First of all, what kind of Indians are you talking about? Lord German Osbando says, sorry, Jericho, I had to mute you for a bit. My supervisor called an impromptu meeting. Nothing bad. Okay, good. Welcome back. So which Indians are you talking about? I guess since they're calling them Indians, they must be talking about the Indians in India. They call them Native Americans, even though Native Americans don't give a shit if you call them Indians. You know how I know? Because every time I drive up the highway, I see a billboard for what? An Indian casino. So if they don't care, I don't care. If the mama named him Clay, I'm going to call him Clay. What movie is that from? Because if they call themselves Indians, I'm going to call them Indians. No, you're not supposed to call yourselves Indians, man. You're supposed to call yourselves Native Americans. I know you want to call yourself something, but I'm outraged for you, so I need you to call yourself Native Americans. So $220 million to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. What are Indian affairs? Do they mean like affairs? Like, what was that Madison something? Where they released all the names and shit of the people cheating on their wives? Like, what the fuck? What's the Bureau of Indian? whoever they are, whatever they are, they're getting $220 million. Just know that. The Office of Native Hawaiian Relations gets $23 million. Why? Why can't the government of Hawaii handle the affairs of the Native Hawaiian relations? Why can't they do that? Is there a Office of Native Californians office? Is there an Office of Native California Relations? If so, cut me a check because I'm living in this bullshit. You know what living in California is like? This is like Andy Dufresne when he was crawling through that 200 yards of raw sewage to get free. We're about 100 yards in and stuck. Raw sewage, right from those filthy prisoners' assholes and dicks to that pipeline he was crawling through. That's what living out here is like. But just know, if you work for the Office of Native Hawaiian Relations, you guys are getting a $23 million bump. Sounds good to me. Wish I could get a bump. And guess who's getting, so if it's $750 billion in this horse shit, guess who's getting the biggest chunk? Guess who's getting $370 billion? That's damn near half. Damn near half? Climate crisis. That's right. We have to take care of climate change. And in order to do that, we need to spend $370 billion. Now, hold on, you sons of bitches. Hold on. If we're spending $370 billion in this horseshit bill, I'm going to need you to promise me. Cool. I'm going to need you to promise me that this is it. You won't need another dime for this climate change shit because we're cutting you a check for $370 billion. When is enough going to be enough? You're putting money into this project. Projects usually come to an end at some point. So we got to spend this kind of money every year? Is this like a maintenance program we're on? Or are we going to be able to end this shit at some point? $370 billion for climate change. Now, have we said anything? Let's see. I don't think I've mentioned anything about inflation, even though this is called the Inflation Reduction Act. I'm just hearing a bunch of shit about some expensive hippies and some groups that I never fucking heard of before. But nothing have I seen yet about inflation. But this is called the Inflation Reduction Act. So when do we get to the good part? When do we get to the good part? When do we get to the inflation reduction part? Because I'm just hearing a bunch of bullshit. I'm hearing a bunch of pork. All I hear is wee, wee. I just hear pork. Fuckers. You fuckers. They said, man, they said, what do you guys want to call the bill? They're like, it don't fucking matter. Call it whatever you want. Call it Inflation Reduction Act. That sounds good. But it has nothing to do with inflation reduction. Who gives a shit? Who cares? As long as our cronies get paid, call it what you want. These fuckers aren't going to know. We'll throw them some bone to distract them. They won't give a shit. We'll jack up their prices, then we'll tell them we're helping them when we bring them down, even though we're the reason they were jacked up in the first place. Holy shit. Inflation Reduction Act, and there's a whole bunch of shit in there that has nothing to do with inflation. So why did you call it that? Why didn't they just call it the Fuck You Over Act? At least they'd be honest. The Bend Over America Act. The Grab Your Ankles Act. GYAA, Grab Your Ankles Act. The Hold On Tight Act. The I Hope They Spit on It First Act. How about Just the Tip Act? Either way, we're getting fucked, so call it that. Yes, Oscar Gonzalez, that's very pled, obviously. Mary Poppy, super sticker. Thank you very much, miss. I appreciate that. Why come they're not at least honest with this? Why don't they just say, look, American people, we're tired of the charades. We're going to push a bunch of shit through that's going to make your life more expensive. It's going to fuck you over in the long run. But you know damn good and well we don't live in your world, so we don't care. We're going to ride off into the sunset behind our high walls and our well-paid security, and we're going to say fuck you all day, and there's nothing you can do about it. So eat a dick. Signed, sincerely, federal government. Mr. Kojak, who loves you, baby? Planet versus Carmen-based life forms. Let's see who wins. I put my money on the planet because we ain't shit. Let a fucking volcano hiccup. Hawaii's gone. Let Mount St. Helens pull that shit again. Look how many people die. Mike D, as in Beastie Boy? If so, what's up, man? Love your music. Thanks for the taunt. Appreciate it, Mike D. Keep up the good work. Jay, holding it down in Philly. F. Larry Soros Krasner. Is that one of them Philly politicians? Let's see who Larry Krasner is. Larry Krasner. Oh, you look like a smug piece of shit. Yo, District Attorney of Philadelphia. See? And why doesn't he get up there? Why doesn't he get up there and say, look, people of Philadelphia, bend over. We will try to be as gentle as possible, but you will get fucked. Philly's a fucking war zone. But one good thing about Philly, the number of legal concealed carry permit holders shootings, concealed permit holders shootings, that sounds right, is going up by a lot every year in Philly. So that's good. People are getting the message and they're protecting themselves. Is it hard to get a concealed carry in Philly? It's a Democrat-run shithole, so probably. Alien testosterone, thank you. How dare you, JG? This bill will help tens of the rich. That's true. We must be happy that our masters are getting rich. That the people who have these crooked sons of bitches by the short and curlies are getting loaded. Roy Lee Painter, thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Steve says hi, simplify. Where is Steve? Is he done cleaning his mom's feet and scooping her turds out of the kitty litter box? Then you got to rub her back, her lower back. Ew, Steve, something's happening, man. You better get out of there, Steve. You get molested, man. Get out of there. Mr. Kojak, thank you again. Little Bree is getting dropped by CNN. Aw. That's too bad. I hate when bad things happen over at CNN, like CNN Plus. Did you guys know, not even bragging, I'm just really shitting on them. Did you know I have twice as many subscribers than they had? They had 150,000 subscribers on CNN Plus before the plug was pulled in 3 weeks. They put $500 million into that shit. Ain't that something? People are starting to see through the bullshit. Sprung Baron 65, thanks for the Hamilton. He says, ironic, Spacey plays a serial killer and his accusers end up dead. I mean, I hope life doesn't imitate art in that sense. Black Lake, thank you. If you haven't seen Seven, that's your homework for this weekend. Classic. It is. It's a really good movie. It's a great movie. I can't even get in that part without giving it away. But it's a very good movie. And even if you haven't seen it, I hope, even if you were listening, I told you the end. There's so much to get to there. Morgan Freeman is on his game. Brad Pitt's on his game. I mean, it's great. AJ Salas. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Okay. I think I got it. You got it. Brian King B. Falcon. Yeah, 7 is fire, man. It is fire. Big Dan T. Thank you for the twomp. Whose head will be in the box? Pelosi? LOL. We are not so lucky. Keep up the great work, brother. I will, I promise. Man, I wish there were multiple heads in that box, metaphorically speaking. I wish it was like Like when you get a box of wine, it has a dividers in it, so you can fit 12 bottles in there. I hope we get a box like that where it has little compartments, so we can fit multiple heads in there, metaphorically speaking. Not in real life. Oh my goodness. Come on. So all that money, and they keep calling this a victory. For who? Who is this a victory for? I don't like that language. That's separatist language. You're telling me that you're separate from me because your victories are yours and not ours. This isn't a victory for us. That no one making over 400,000 won't pay $1 in federal taxes or $1 more in federal taxes. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. All these credits you're giving to these car companies or for people to get electric cars. You know how expensive electric cars are? And now they're saying we'll give you this much money in the tax credit for getting an electric car. Then the electric car companies raise the price of the electric car. So there goes your break. There goes your rebate. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter if the language is one way, if that doesn't play out in real life. That's like you telling me all this cool shit you're going to give me, but then you don't give it to me. Well, then it doesn't matter all the shit you were saying because it's not materializing in my hands. And what you hear what that turd Joe Manchin said when the woman asked him about the Inflation Reduction Act that he made possible. Brendan Gerzlak, thank you, man, for the Hamilton. He says, have you noticed Lori Lightfoot looks like zombie MJ from the Thriller video? Don't you besmirch the good name of the Michael Jackson zombie in Thriller. That zombie looks at least 2 times better than Mayor Googly Eyes. Chicago has sucked the life force from that woman. She looks terrible. And she is terrible. Lori Lightweight. You talk about just a figurehead. She don't do shit in that city. They just hit 416 homicides in Chicago, and the year isn't over. That is crazy. The year isn't over. They're not done killing yet. Can it hit 500? Chris, she says, no, she sucked the life force out of Chicago. All right, touche. Touche. But can they hit 500 by the end of the year? If they don't, it won't be for lack of effort, unfortunately. My goodness. Guitar Dude 777, he says 400 ain't nothing. Yeah, Game Hinge Patriot, there's only 365 in a year. They said we can do better. Yes, Chicago is a gun-free zone. That's why that shit happens. That's why the shit happens. Because they're telling the citizens, no guns here, no guns there, no gun, no gun, no gun. And the criminals say, fuck that. We're criminals, remember? This is what we do. So speaking of that, I don't even want to call it bullshit. Because at least bullshit is good for something. Fertilizer. So it's not even bullshit because it's good for nothing. Katie Marie, if something goes out in those electric cars like the battery, it's like $11,000 to replace the vehicle. The vehicles are like $14,000. Yeah, and good point, Katie Marie. Where do we get the batteries from? And since now this is all about the environment, man. Next time you go out in nature, man, I want you to take a corkscrew, man, like, kind of a big one, and like bore a hole in a tree, man, and then fuck it, man. Because we love the environment. I want everybody to go out in the forest and fuck a tree, man. So it's all about the environment, right, dude? We don't want to hurt the trees or the birds or the water, man. So we want everybody to drive electric cars, man, because fuel, oil, that's bad for the planet, man. That's the earth's blood, man. Everything needs to run off electricity and hope, man. Well, since it's about the environment, man, then what do we do with these damn batteries when we're done? When these batteries burn out in your precious little electric cars, where do they go? Huh? Do they take the battery out of your car and they throw it up in the air and it flies away and disappears in the sunshine? Is it biodegradable? Is it biodegradable like my clothes, man? Are the batteries made out of hemp? Man. No, they're not. They're made out of this shit called lithium. That sounds bad. Lithium sounds like we're going to be here for a long time. We're not going anywhere. So where do they send those batteries? That's right. Just exactly where we get them from, right back to China, man. Those Chinese kids got to have something to play on, man. Might as well be a big pile of burnout lithium batteries, man. Fucking clowns. So speaking of this nonsense, okay, because that's what it is, nonsense. Nonsense. So speaking of, here we go. Got one more super to do. We're going to get in it. All right. From Kai Johnson in the UK. Our so-called conservative government is banning new non-electric cars from 2030. I wonder why we didn't get to vote on it. That's another thing. Anything these fools are trying to do that's major like this, why don't we take a vote? I'll tell you why, because they know damn good and well they put this up to a vote to the American people or the British people. There's going to be a loud no. There'll be a loud fuck no. Are you crazy? So to avoid that, they just push it through. You know, they'll push it through like midnight on Friday when everybody's worrying about other things. Or like on Sunday morning. Fuckers. Fuckers. All right. So remember Joe Manchin. He is the guy whose vote made this possible. This is the final puzzle piece that made everything happen, that brought us. Oh, and that's who Biden was handing the pin to. I believe that was Joe Manchin who Biden was handing the pin to. Why he didn't just put the cap on it and lay it down on the table is beyond me. But who knows what the fuck's going on in there. You got cobwebs, all kind of dust. There's a lot of shit going on, a lot of old shit rattling around in his head. Don't forget, 3 aneurysms and 1 embolism, and a partridge in a pear tree. So this is what the guy who made this bill possible had to say when a reporter asked him, hey, how is your Inflation Reduction Act going to reduce inflation? Very simple question.
When it comes to inflation, is it misleading to call this the Inflation Reduction Act for Americans when it's not going to make their grocery bill cheaper? It's not going to make everyday goods cheaper for them.
Why would it? Well, immediately it's not, because we never said anything happened immediately. Like today, it's turn the switch on and off.
You hear that? She said, why are you calling it the Inflation Reduction Act when it's not going to make a difference today? It's not going to make gas any cheaper. It's not going to make food any cheaper today. And his answer was, why would it? Why would it? We didn't say anything was going to happen today. It's not just a switch you could turn on and off. Kinda. You brought us to this position in the last 2.5 years, 2 years. So it's kind of an on and off switch. And one thing you can do for sure is stop printing up money. We don't have this $750 billion. It's fucking monopoly money. The 1.9 trillion, that was monopoly money. You can stop printing money because government spending is the only thing that causes inflation. So yes, it is an on and off switch, but you don't want to turn that switch off. You like this money. You like this power. You like having Bidenist pervertis's agenda by the short and curly so you control it. You like this shit. It is an on and off switch. So let me get this straight. The guy who made the Inflation Reduction Bill happen says, we never told you it was going to reduce inflation now. Well, guess what, Joe Manchin and the rest of you motherfuckers? I don't care what it's going to do in 10 years. I don't care what it's going to do in 2 years. I need that shit to stop now. I'm raising my family now. Don't tell me you're going to bring the price down after they turn 18. I don't give a fuck then. I'm not raising them then. I need the prices to come down now. Don't tell me the price of gas is going to be cheaper in 10 years. I need the shit to be cheap right now. I'm driving now. I'm not going to go to sleep thinking, oh, it'll be cheaper in 5 years. Good night, honey. No, I need the shit cheaper today. You got us in this problem. You get us the fuck out. He said, why would it? Why would the Inflation Reduction Act reduce inflation? That doesn't make any sense, you dumb tax-paying son of a bitch. You 10, that's all you are, tax ID number. What the? I bet you he went into his office like, and then I told him, why wouldn't? Because it's funny. It's a fucking joke, right? Our lives are a joke. We are nothing but little science experiments to them. Juan Guiter, thank you. Hold up, Jericho. Hold up here, Jericho. You can't be on here making sense. Whee! I know it's my own problem I try to deal with on a daily basis. Maybe one day I can break free from these common sense shackles. Come on, man. That's right, Sweet Rose in 1987. It's my money and I want it now. I want the inflation lowered now. Stop printing money now. Motherfucker said, why would it? You think the Inflation Reduction Act is going to reduce inflation? You're a fool. This is more pork. This is more spending. It's more money for them to skim off the top. They gave $220 million to Indian relations, whatever the fuck that means. Of the Hawaiian fuck. Hey, Hawaii, worry about them Hawaiians. Why is the federal government filtering money to this obscure group in Hawaii? I love Hawaii. I got married in Hawaii. We want to go back to Hawaii. But if this shit keeps up, no one's going to be able to afford to go to Hawaii. Big Dan T, thank you again for another Twompsky, sir. I'm a proud West Virginian, and Joe Manchin has been a flip-flopping snake in the grass for years. The demon crap machine has gotten him in every time. But it's too late. He is not a true West Virginian. No, he's not. He's not even a true American. Then you got them up there telling us, oh, this shit that we pushed through, it ain't going to work. Remember when Nancy Pelosi said, we need to pass the bill so we can see what's in it. Oh, I'm sorry. You thought you were on a podcast called Stupid Shit That Politicians Say. No, it's still me, Jericho Green. She said that. She said, well, we got to pass the bill to see what's in it. That's back assward, you wrinkled turd. You see what's in it first, then you decide to pass it. Or maybe that's just how we do things down here in the private sector, in reality. Well, we don't have some cushy-ass job we keep robbing the people for every 4 years. He said, why would it? Why would you expect the Inflation Reduction Act to reduce inflation? Maybe that's just us. Maybe that's our bad, Joe. Maybe that's our bad. But maybe the people of West Virginia, you guys need to carry around a pack of wipes. The one you always see moms with babies and toddlers. Carry a pack of wipes on you. You know why? Because you guys are getting shit on. Joe Manchin pulled down his expensive trousers, spread his distended anus, and shit all over the people of West Virginia. Carry wipes, guys. Wipes and an umbrella. Mental medalist wife, what up? Saying. Jaybird got game. What's up? Don Zuckschwartz says, you are, Jericho. They think all Americans are stupid. They really do. And, you can't blame them because you look at their supporters. If you looked out on a sea of blue hair and deep V-necks and soft handshakes, you'd be like, these motherfuckers are stupid. Look at them. They're wearing pajama pants. Lord German Husbando, don't say that because that was a good movie. That was a good movie. She says Biden and the two Joes, the Joe squared, Biden and Manchin are dumb and dumber. How about elderly and dumb? Two Joe, JoJo, two Joes. Fucking idiots. Well, one of them, well, they're both monsters, but one of them's senile. So I don't know if he could be blamed for his shortcomings. If you put a microphone inside Joe Biden's brain, it would just be oatmeal, oatmeal. I love oatmeal, oatmeal. Poor thing. Hey, poor thing. Hey, qué pena, Joe. Qué pena, man. So, let's check out the I.R.S.S. I mean, damn it, I keep doing that, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to do that. I don't mean to do that. I.R.S. training video. This is sad. This is funny. It's a lot of things, guys. But whatever it is, it's brought to you by My Patriot Supply. Friends, the entire world is experiencing food shortages. Supply chain breakdowns continue to have a domino effect on everything, especially food production. Farmers can't plant as many crops now because of the fertilizer shortages, forced regulations, and high fuel prices. This will cause more painful food shortages when we run out of the food that we're eating now. Food takes time to grow. So when farmers don't plant, months later, we don't eat. That's why you need to prepare for an increasing number of food shortages. And the best way is to invest in Ready Hour emergency food from My Patriot Supply. It's the perfect hedge against skyrocketing prices and shortages. Right now, save $50 on a 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithjericho.com, get your $50 savings on a 4-week emergency food kit that averages over 2,000 calories per day. That's preparewithjericho.com. Those who know what's coming are getting prepared now. Shouldn't you? Prepare with Jericho. So let's see here. Let's see him. Chris Law, thank you very much for the 50. Hey, this isn't the mall. We're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue. We're gonna take you higher. Why are you guys making fun of that poor old bastard? That poor old feeble fucker. You know he has a cup with his dentures in it next to the bed with a little solution in there to clean them. Guaranteed. Carolyn 714, thank you, miss. Jericho, the Inflation Reduction Bill, it's just a vibe. We just want you to feel, like we're doing something for you, but really, we ain't doing shit. You're right about that, Carolyn. You are right about that. It's just a feeling. It's just words. As long as you think we are, then we are. We ain't doing shit. We're getting richer. We're getting richer, bitch. That's for sure. So, let's get to it, guys. Remember what I said. Remember I said I.R.S.S. training video and wheelchair. Remember the wheelchair? Damn it, people, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Did you see him? Did you see him? There he is. No, you didn't. You did not put an I.R.S.S. agent in there in a wheelchair. Is he there only to arrest other handicapped people? Why would you have a dude wearing a flak jacket going to weapons training in a wheelchair? Now, I ain't got nothing against disabled people. No shit. It's sad we live in a society that I need to say that shit. But I don't want you doing law enforcement. What if it's an upstairs? What if the person's upstairs? Then what good are you? Are you going to do like, remember that scene from Scary Movie where the dude who was in the wheelchair who never wanted anybody's help and he had to go upstairs? So he took himself out of the wheelchair and he dragged his wheelchair and his legs upstairs? Is that what you're going to do? What the fuck is this? This shit needs to stop. Are they that desperate? Then wait till you see the rest of these nerds. You know, every single one of them carries an EpiPen. What the? Look at these geeks. Look at that big old fat dude. You shouldn't look like that in law enforcement. I'm sorry. Oh, shit. Here we go. Here we go. I'm a federal agent. I'm a federal agent. Please. Please. Good shit. Guys, they're coming door to door. They're going to come get you. Look at that woman, the way she's handling that gun. Look at their feet. You ain't ready for shit. That dude's flat-footed with his feet. Look at that. Look at that woman. You ain't ready for shit. Look at these dorks. Look all timid and shit. Oh, what the fuck is going on? Can I arrest you, please? Oh, man, he turned around and knocked that woman into another dimension. Look at these fucking weenies. You don't take your hand off of them. Look at this shit. Look at this shit.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me for today.
Do you see that bullshit? And one of these days, I'll figure out how to bring the screen up. Whatever, that's not the point. Did you see these goofballs? I.R.S. agent, please. I can't go inside your residence if you have cats or peanuts. I can't come in your residence if you have cats or peanuts. I'm an I.R.S.S. agent, sir. Can I arrest you, please? Did you see? Look, man, I ain't no damn cop. I never been a cop. But I've seen enough cops to know that when they go to arrest somebody, you don't take both hands off of them to fumble with your handcuffs. They weren't standing in a ready position. You could have went over to them, took two fingers, and pushed them over. They weren't ready for shit. Now, of course, this is about training, but we got to have a foundation before you get here. You can't show up to school on the first day and not know how to read. Your mama should have taught you something before you showed up to school. You should have come with some groundwork already done, some foundation laid for law enforcement. This should not be the first time you've touched a firearm. Obviously, this is the first time they've all touched one. There are four of them. The only thing you would be afraid of if they showed up is that they would accidentally shoot you. That they would drop their gun. She would go to transition to get her handcuffs, drop her gun, and accidentally shoot you in your ass. You think these people are ready to go door to door? You think these people are ready to come take shit that people have earned? An average everyday working man would have beat piss down all of their legs if they came into his house tripping. Average everyday American, any man who's been in any fisticuffs on the playground would have beat the shit out of all of them. They would all have blue parking spots up front for the rest of their lives. They had a dude going to I.R.S.S. officer training in a wheelchair. Bruh, I put you in the corner and put a screwdriver in your wheels. You are no longer a problem. What is the dude in the wheelchair doing there? Why are you there, sir? If it's anything but a ground floor, you're useless. What the fuck was that? This looks like this is a bunch of nerds getting revenge. That's what this is. They got the swirlies, the wet willies shoved in the locker. It's their turn to get revenge. They got a gun now. That's what it looks like. What was that? That was a bunch of unprepared, untrained geeks. I'm surprised they didn't have tape on their glasses right here. Please, sir, I work for the I.R.S.S. Let me inside of your residence. Before I cross your threshold, I must ask you, do you have peanuts, peanut butter, or cats? What the fuck was that? If it's 87,000 of them, my level of worry just went down. Carolyn 714. Oh, we got that one. My bad. Let's go next one. It's Lord German husbando. Let's see. Am I right? Am I wrong? I mean, what? What was that? Yo. Brian King B. Falcon. Good question. Said, so why teachers can't be armed again? Yeah, you arm these fucking dorks. Sure, we are here to execute a search for the I.R.S.S. German husbando. I was right. Thank you very much. These nerds all got shoved in lockers and given swirlies in middle and high school. I guarantee you. Bunch of jokes. Man. I don't have nothing against nerds. All right? But that doesn't qualify you to be trained in law enforcement tactics. They're not even taking people that want to do the law enforcement. They're taking the CPA number crunchers and forcing them to train. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. They're like, sure. I think our first seizure should be this guy right here. He was my high school bully. He used to put me in the trash can all the time and give me swirlies. It's time for some payback, sucker. Just the feet. When I taught my son, I taught him, some basic shit just about fighting. You got to know something, son, when you show up to the playground. It's all in your feet. We were shooting this pellet gun, when I was teaching him how to shoot, it's all in your feet. Your feet have to be right. They have to be a certain distance apart. Bend your knees a little. Get that gun out in front of you. Get ready to rock and roll. This is not a game. All right? Not this standing on a tightrope shit. That woman had her feet on a tightrope, and she was leaning back like, oh, what time are we going to get out of here? I'm so bored. Like, you didn't teach them shit. Now, even if that's their very first day and they just want to see what they're dealing with, that's horrible. You ain't got no experience, no training, nothing. It's even worse if that's after training, because that's one of the first things they should have taught them. How to stand. What's your base? You're handling a firearm. This shit is serious. Pay attention. Get in the proper stance. Pay attention. In a second, this dude could spin around and knock your teeth down your throat. And what do you think this scared group of pussies around you is going to do? Run. There's a video, came out years ago, 10, 15 years ago maybe. Terrible video. It's a female cop who pulls over this guy, and he happens to have a pound of weed in his van, and he ain't going back to jail. And this dude has got to be 6'2", 6'3", big old dude. He'd be a handful for a man, but definitely more than a handful for a 5'4" female officer. So she has one hand on him, on his hand. She reaches back. She puts her gun away and reaches back to get her cuffs. As soon as she takes her one hand off of him, he spins around and knocks her out. She is unconscious before she hits the ground. Then he straddles her, gets on top like an MMA fighter, ground and pound, gets on top of her chest and just starts smashing her face. Put her in a coma for like 2 months. She had to retire, almost killed her. That was an officer. That was a female officer with years of experience and training. What do you think is going to happen to some woman, that fool standing there? She wasn't even dressed like she came to train. What do you think is going to happen to her when they come across somebody that they got to use all this training on because apparently letters and calls from the IRS or however they contact you aren't enough? So we got to bring the force. We got to be the I.R.S.S. Like if a bunch of SS soldiers fucked the cast of Revenge of the Nerds, this is what you're going to get. So what do you think is going to happen when the Geek Squad with guns shows up to that dude's house or that family who says, we're sick of this shit. We're tired of the tyranny. You ain't taking shit from me. What are you going to do? You guys got all these Glocks and night vision and surveillance equipment and training, flak jackets and shit. What are you going to do? Do you think these people got the balls to do that? Who's in more of a position to be ready to take somebody's life? These trained IRS agents or someone who's staring down the barrel of losing everything they work for? They ain't going to do it. You get 1, 2, 3 shootouts where these fuckers get laid down and they ain't doing that shit no more. Look at this shit. They had it. They had a dude in a wheelchair. Now, if he was just in a wheelchair, I wouldn't say anything, but he had on the bulletproof I.R.S.S. vest. Where are you going? Did you get off the elevator on the wrong floor? Where are you going? Don't get mad at me for making fun of that dude in a wheelchair. You get mad at the I.R.S.S. for putting his ass in a bulletproof vest. Get mad at them. I'm only talking about what I see. And I just saw a guy in a wheelchair headed to weapons training. Now, if you're in a wheelchair and you're a regular citizen, man, you train your ass off. But I ain't paying for it. And you certainly don't belong on a government law enforcement force. Is that what this is now? Is that what the I.R.S.S. is? They're no longer a financial force. Now they're a police force or paramilitary force. What the fuck are they? Because they sure got a bunch of guns. They sure got a lot of guns for some CPAs. That's what I think. Wow. That was hard to watch. That was hard to watch. Those fools. Oh boy was like, hey, I'm about to go get my train on. About to show you fools what's up. All right, man. All right, man. Oh, Jamar Gilliard says, I'm glad I didn't take out a PPP loan. Yeah, they're coming for that money. You see all that shit that people were spending their money on? Strippers and mansions and Ferraris and fake tits and drugs. You know what? This might be controversial, but I don't really care. Because if you are going to make up this bullshit and shut down our country and force people to be home and force your money on them, I don't care what they do with it. Excuse me. I don't give a shit. If it's regular tax money and it's coming out of my income, I got a problem. But this is some fake bullshit you guys made up and you created. And you made those people stay home and take that money. So if they spend it on dumb shit, I do not care. That's what you get. Where people should be mad is that you put them in that position in the first place, that you created a situation where you had to give them money. That's where the problem is. Not what they did with the money, the fact that you gave it to them, the reason that you gave it to them. That's the bullshit. That's the messed up part. The fuck you think people are going to do if you start handing out money? What do you think they're going to do? If you hand money to everybody, there's a good percentage of people that are going to do some illegal shit with it. That's just numbers. You print up $2 trillion and make it rain on these hoes, what do you think is going to happen? Fucking ridiculous. Marky Mark said Hot Wheels. I mean, that's probably his nickname. Remember that was it Kroll show? Where Nick Kroll, it was like a sketch comedy show. And he had this skit on there. It was called Wheels Ontario. And it was about this high school in Canada, but it was all kids in like wheelchairs and shit. And so any of the kids who could walk, they were the ones who got picked on. The shit was funny. And they'd all call the kids who could walk legs. Hey, legs, what are you doing over there, legs? Woo! I wonder if he can make them, if he can smoke them tires. Oh my goodness. Somebody called him Ironside. I remember that show. Dynamite says old Ironsides will get clapped. Yeah, especially if he's training like them other motherfuckers. What the fuck was that? And what that was like some law enforcement cosplay. Like that was just a bunch of dorks in the park playing cop. One out of 12 this year. One out of 12. I see the suspects. Let's get them. Let's get the suspects. That shit was horrible. Jesus. They didn't teach them shit. Her legs are all fucking, they weren't even standing right. She had the gun like, get the fuck out of here. Hey, man. Frank Powell says play on wheels. Look, man. I feel bad. Like if you're going to have this nerd army go out and try to take people's money, I feel bad for them because you guys are, honestly, you're going to be running into a fucking buzzsaw. You're not ready. Those dudes are the kind of dudes, if you shake their hand, you'll pop their knuckles. You ever shake somebody's hand like that, fellas? You hear their knuckles crack? Lord German Husbando, thank you. Hey, Jericho, shout out to my mom. She's still laughing. What up, Mom? What up, Mom German Husbando? How are you? Good, I hope. You can lay your head down tonight. Rest assured, you raised a good one, Mama German Husbando. Thank you. I mean, come on. Tim Starr says, Timmy! Was Timmy the one in the wheelchair or was Jimmy the one with the braces on his arms? Man, that shit was funny. Timmy. Timmy. That's all he says. Timmy. Oh, man. I mean, come on, dog. Okay, Snake Eater 871 says Timmy was in the wheelchair. All right. Timmy. That was Jimmy. Jimmy was the one who talked like that. Oh boy. Okay, guys. I mean, that's enough. That is enough. I can't take any more of this shit. They had the Geek Squad with guns, and they look fucking horribly unprepared. Heavily unprepared. Holy shit. If that's who you're sending out, good luck, man. Good luck. You guys are going to get fucked up. And the group that they were showing, they had like 3 guns on him and they were arresting the guy. I'm not talking about running into the house of some former boxer or or some former MMA fighter or somebody with some badass. That's not what I'm talking about. You run up on the average American who just got off of a 10-hour shift with a pot belly, he would smash every single one of those people. All 4 of them will be laid out leaking. You can give them all the formal training you want. Do they have the testicular fortitude to carry that shit out? Are they ready for the carnage? Are they ready? All these people aren't going to fucking lay down. They're not going to be all sheepish and, I'm sorry. Some people are going to fight. Most people are going to fight, and you guys are not ready. When the shit hits the fan, this ain't no training exercise. There will be nobody standing around with a whistle around their neck. There are no safety timeouts. There's no, all right, stop. Now, what is he doing wrong here? There's none of that. Live ammunition, real blood. This is a real house with a real American citizen who is sick of the bullshit. Are you ready for that, you dork? I don't think so. I'm telling you, all you need is somebody who has experience fighting from childhood, and they'll fuck these people up. All the shit we've been dealing with, all the names we've been called, all the shit stolen from us, treating us like we're stupid. All that shit built up. Men, that's one of the things we do wrong. Men don't get shit out. We bottle. We push down and we bottle, and then it blows up. So if I'm eating shit everywhere I turn, then I got this fucking Poindexter on my porch. You're about to get all this. I'm going to breathe fire on all of you fucking dorks. They ain't ready. It's unfortunate. They are throwing them into the furnace, and they are not ready. But I'm ready. I'm ready to go pick up my kids from school. Tell me all about your first day of school. How was your teacher? Did you make new friends? It's going to be fun. I'm excited. We might even go out for a little ice cream. 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tomorrow, we'll be right here. What will happen between now and then? I don't know. But whatever it does, we're going to be here to talk about it. Don't forget mygreengear.com, JerichoGreen.net, Venmo, GreenforGreen, Cashapp, $, Jericho Green, and the number 1. P.O. Box, 806, Olivehurst, California, 95961-9998. Oh, last second super chat. Perfect timing, Max Bang. I was just about to get into my spiel. What's up, Gina Martin? Thank you. Max Bang, thanks for the Hamilton. So the I.R.S. SIS are planning on putting tax offenders in jail, but violent criminals walk free every day. This is something I've always had a problem with. I don't believe you should have your freedoms taken away because you don't pay taxes. That just doesn't sound right to me. Because I don't give you money, you're going to take away my freedom. You're going to throw me in a cage with a bunch of violent criminals because I don't give you money. You're going to put me in a situation where my life and my safety is in danger. My anal integrity is in danger. I could possibly pick up a charge in there that has me in there for even longer because I didn't pay the government, the fucking gangsters, money. That doesn't sound right to me. It just doesn't. That does not sound right. You're taking away my freedom. Do these people know? Maybe they do know. That's why they do such a good job of staying out of prison. Maybe they do know how violent and dangerous and terrible prison is. And you're going to send me there because I didn't give your punk ass enough money. Don't like it. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net and mygreengear.com. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.